Hello, I'm Andrew Midgley. I'm a Senior Land Use Policy Officer at RSPB Scotland, and I want to talk to you today about peat. And specifically, I want to encourage you not to buy compost that has peat in it and to go for the peat-free option. So I thought I would come to a lowland raised bog near where I live to show you a little bit about what a peatland is. This is a special protected site for wildlife. It's taken thousands of years of this peat accumulating to create the site that we see now. And so while it may look like a fairly barren expanse of ground, it's actually really important for carbon because the peat is storing carbon. And it's really important for an assemblage of specialist peatland birds and other wildlife. Another way that the peatlands have been used is to essentially dig them up and take them away. Put them in plastic bags, put the peat in plastic bags and sell it to you and me for our gardens. So behind me is a peat extraction site which is legitimately being carried on where the peat is being taken away on a commercial basis, and the site is massive. Essentially what happens is that the peat is drained, the bog is drained, big ditches are put into the bog to lower the water table, and then after the surface has dried out somewhat, then the peat is then taken off, and what you're left with is a bare expanse of barren peat. And the site is entirely and utterly changed from being a site which supports wildlife to one that doesn't. Now, I do want to say that it's important to recognise that there are people whose livelihoods depend on sites like this. They are doing jobs just like I do to make a living, and we're not criticising those people. All we're doing is asking the bigger question, which is, in the context of climate change and the biodiversity crisis, should we continue with this sort of practice? The Scottish Government's own advisors, the Committee on Climate Change, has recommended that this practice should stop and that we should be restoring these sites and we should be keeping the carbon in the ground. And we agree. We would like commercial extraction for horticulture to stop. So the good news is that places like this are being increasingly valued for what they are. So the government has recently committed to invest £250 million over the next 10 years in restoring peatlands, which is fantastic. It's a good start. But there are other things that need to happen. So the government has also suggested that it wants to phase out the use of peat in gardening, which is, again, a great aspiration. But I want to suggest to you that you can help, and there are things that you can do to help protect places like this. So I have actually carried out 2 bags of peat here to make a point. Now, I have to be honest with you in that I'm not pretending to be perfect here, because as you will see, I have a bag of compost. These are 2 bags. One bag is a bag of peat compost, and another bag is peat-free. Now, I brought these out here to make a point, which is essentially that you can make a choice. Now, I am not going to buy this sort of stuff again, the compost that has lots of peat in it, and I'm going to buy peat-free compost, and I would simply encourage you to do the same. Now, I recognise that it might be that when you go to a garden centre and you're looking for compost, that there may not be peat-free options. So I would simply then encourage you, the next best thing you can do is to go and ask for it. Ask why they don't have it and encourage them to stock it. It's by doing these sorts of things that we can take an individual approach to saving places like this.